You replay the conversation again. That thing you said 3 days ago, maybe it came out wrong. Maybe they took it the wrong way. So you rewind it, reword it, rehearse a better version of yourself that no longer exists in that moment. And just when you think you're done, your brain whispers, but what if they're still thinking about it? We call this overthinking. We joke about it, put it on a coffee mug, make it a personality trait. But here's what psychologists are actually saying. This isn't a thinking problem at all. It's a survival response that got stuck. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It learned, somewhere along the way, that staying alert kept you safe. And now it can't figure out how to stop. There are 5 patterns behind what we casually call overthinking, and one of them most people never even recognize in themselves. See if you can spot it as we go. The first is the ruminator. Picture someone lying in bed at 1 a.m., not anxious about tomorrow, but replaying Tuesday. An email sent too fast, a moment where they said the wrong thing, or said nothing at all. The ruminator isn't thinking too much. They're stuck in a loop their brain refuses to close. Psychologists link this to what happens when the nervous system learns that replaying a threat is safer than letting it go. It isn't weakness. It's a wound wearing the costume of a habit. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone sleeping next to you right now. Then there's the catastrophizer. One slightly ambiguous text, K, and suddenly they've mapped out 17 ways the friendship is over. These aren't dramatic people. They're people whose brains simulate consequences faster than reality can correct them. One small signal, and the mind runs it to its worst possible conclusion, in full cinematic detail, with emotional consequences already felt before anything has even happened. The cruel irony? The more intelligent the person, the more convincing the disaster feels. But here's the one most people miss: the silencer. They don't look like overthinkers. They're calm, deliberate, never seem rattled. But inside, it's a courtroom. Every thought cross-examined before it's allowed to exist. Every feeling put on trial before it's allowed to speak. Psychologists describe this as the exhausting act of monitoring your own mind in real time. These people aren't thinking less. They're thinking twice as hard just to appear normal. The silence isn't peace. It's overtime. Then there's the empathy overthinker. The drive home is when it starts. The conversation ended an hour ago. Everyone laughed. Everything seemed fine. But they're replaying it now, alone in the car, searching for the moment someone's smile didn't quite reach their eyes. They noticed. They always notice. A slight pause before someone answered. A tone that shifted half a degree. Nobody else caught it. They caught all of it. Psychologists describe this as a nervous system calibrated entirely outward, so finely tuned to other people's emotional states that it processes someone else's discomfort before that person has even named it themselves. But it means they never fully leave a room. Some part of them stays behind, still reading it. They don't carry their feelings. They carry everyone else's. And by the end of the day, they can no longer tell which ones were theirs to begin with. And finally, the one I promised you, the Existential Looper. 3 p.m., ordinary Tuesday. You're standing in the kitchen, holding a mug, and out of nowhere, the whole thing just stops making sense. Not a crisis, not sadness exactly, just a question that arrives uninvited. Is this really it? No trigger, no reason, just a mind that has quietly stepped outside its own life and started watching it from a distance. Psychologists describe this as a mind turning on itself, examining its own existence instead of just being in it. It doesn't look like suffering, it looks like stillness. And that's exactly why it goes unnoticed for years. This isn't the type that shows up in therapy with a clear complaint. It's the type that sits with the question so long, the question starts to feel like company. Now go back to the very first line. The replaying, the rewinding, the rehearsing of a better version of yourself that no longer exists. That's not a flaw in your thinking. That's a nervous system trying, in the only way it knows how, to keep you safe. And you have probably been calling it a bad habit, when really it's been a kind of armor. The question isn't, why can't I stop overthinking? The question is, what was it protecting you from? Sit with that. And if this felt like someone finally said it out loud, you're in the right place.